everybody. Today we're going to be looking at exactly what is a beehive, showing you the similarities and the differences between our flow hive and a traditional Langstroth hive. This behind me is a flow hive, and this is a traditional Langstroth hive, which is the most widely used hive in the world. They are in many ways very similar, as the flow hive uses a traditional Langstroth design with some modifications that allow us to harvest the honey without opening the hive and disturbing the bees. The major components of a beehive are a bottom board, a brood box, brood frames, a queen excluder, a honey super, an inner cover and a lid. So let's take a closer look at a brood box. So the flow hive has the same brood box or brood nest, as it's sometimes called, as the traditional Langstroth hive. The brood box is where the queens, the drones and the workers live, and the queen lays her eggs here. The word brood refers to the eggs, the pupae and the larvae that will develop to become fully grown bees. Brood frames usually have a variety of bees at different stages, along with some pollen and nectar stores. Mostly here in Australia and in milder climates, one brood box is often enough, as for many months of the year there is a nectar flow. But depending on how long and intense the nectar flow is in your area, it will change how much space you need to give your bees. It's about making sure your bees have got sufficient space in their home, but not too much space that they can't defend themselves against pests and diseases. It seems to be more common practice in the United States to use a double brood box. We encourage the use of foundationless frames in the brood box to allow the bees to build their own comb. Many beekeepers use wax foundation with a pre-stamped cell size for the bees to build on. However, there's growing evidence that allowing your bees to build the brood comb naturally results in healthier colonies. There are many different ways and methods for keeping your bees. For every 2 beekeepers, there'll be 3 opinions. Remember, connecting with your local bee group will give you the best knowledge and support for what works in your area. Now let's take a look at the honey super. The honey super is where the flow hive and the Langstroth hive differ, although they serve the same function as a place for the bees to store only honey. With the use of an excluder, the queen stays in the brood box at the bottom, so she cannot lay eggs in the honey super. The flow hive super has the unique flow frames and the custom design box with the rear and side viewing windows. Being able to see into your hive, check on your girls and see when the frames are ready for harvest. The flow frames are partially formed food-grade plastic, honeycomb matrix that allows you to harvest the honey by turning a key. The cells then split horizontally while the bees are undisturbed on the comb surface. The honey flows down and out of the hive and into a jar. Fresh, raw, unfiltered honey ready for use on your table, all without opening the hive. If you'd like to see Cedar taking us through all of the individual elements of the flow hive, click here. A traditional Langstroth hive uses the same frames in the honey super as it does in the brood box, which you then have to go through an extraction process to get your honey. This consists of opening your hive, removing the frames,